I'm Jess, I'm 23 now and I'm at medical school in Exeter in my last year.
I'm Jess's mum. I've been supporting Jess through her difficult time while she's been trying to recover from an eating disorder. And that was about 7 years ago. So it's a journey, and it's a very long journey. And it's one that I don't think anybody should go through alone.
I used to say that I felt sort of empty, and when I thought about the future, I couldn't see anything in the future. It was just sort of black or nothing is what I used to say quite a lot. It was just a really strange place to be in, because when I was younger, I'd always been quite positive and social, and I was always really happy. So it's just strange to go from that to feeling like I didn't have a purpose. I tried to avoid being at home as much as possible, because every time I went home, it was really like a hostile environment, wasn't it? Because I was quite irritable with my mood as well. And then my mum and dad were angry at me. I think we were all just angry at each other.
You sort of start examining each other, and you sort of start pointing the finger and start trying to apportion blame.
I think eventually, to sort of involve my family, my mum, I ordered a book from online, and then I highlighted all the bits that were relevant to me, and then I sent it home to mum so she could read. And I think that's when we first started to talk about things, is when I was saying, look, I think this is what's happening, and this is the problems I've got, and this is how I'm feeling. And that's how it got out in the open.
But we definitely had a discussion, Jess's dad and I, and we just drew the line under it, and we said, look, we're just going to not take anything into account other than looking after Jess and caring for Jess, and just not sort of trying to rationalise it and say, why on earth can't you just eat a jacket potato or something? We're just going to accept that Jess is finding it really difficult just to basically eat, and we're going to try and help her. That was a little step along the way, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's taken us a really long time to be able to get to a point where we're really open and honest.
Very, very long time. Yeah.
I think especially at first as well, a lot of things you don't want to say because you don't want to upset the other person. But I think that just makes it worse in a way, because if you can't talk to someone, it just builds up.
And we actually had a name for the eating disorder thoughts, didn't we?
Yeah, called it Minxie.
Minxie. So we tried to sort of kind of separate them out so that we could, and also Jess could start to recognise which thoughts were Minxie and which thoughts were Jess. And then one day, Jess has actually got quite a wicked sense of humour. And this little bit of sense of humour popped up, and it was just out of the blue. And then that's just kept going. It's kept going all the time.
But I've had mum and dad come running through to the lounge when I've been laughing because they didn't know what was going on. Did you remember that?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
They came to me and was like, what's happened? I was just laughing because it was so unusual. So now more mum sort of helps me to help myself, whereas at first I don't think I was in the position to do that. I had to be more sort of a passive acceptor of help, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But now mum sort of, when I'm struggling, I say, oh, I need a bit of an extra support at the minute, and turn to mum then. So it's not a continuous, it's more she'll just be there whenever I need her. We've got a better relationship, we've got a more normal relationship now,
much more normal now.
I've just moved into a house with my boyfriend just this weekend, and we've got a cat. And now I think the future looks bright and happy, and I've got so much excitement.
Yeah, but it is a journey, and you've got to keep going. And it's important to say, it's not linear. You don't start and then it's all lovely and uphill, far from it. Yeah. You know, we've had many sort of false dawns, false starts, many retro steps.
Forward, 1 step back.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So it's important to sort of keep going and keep being supportive.